weight loss consultation with PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. And as they say, the rest is history. Just a few months, I lost over 50 pounds. I took control of my health. 3 years later, I've kept the weight off and I feel better than ever. If you are where I was, do what I did. Call PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. It'll change your life. It's fast and simple. They won't let you fail. Just give them a call at 855-696-2020 to schedule your weight loss consultation. That's 855-696-2020. 855-696-2020. Here's the best part. First 11 callers who mention the keyword healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their weight loss package. Don't wait. Call today. 855-696-2020. Mention healthy to get 2 free weeks or visit them at myphdweightloss.com, myphdweightloss.com.
The Carolina Swap Shop. Buy, sell, trade. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Call 888-331-0269.
The following program is a paid advertisement and does not necessarily represent the views, opinions, or endorsements of Signal Hill Media Partners, its affiliate stations, or its advertisers.
Say what you want.
Welcome to We're Just Sayin' with Senator Vickie Sawyer and co-host David Coble. Join them each week as they provide the latest updates on legislation affecting North Carolina, from breaking down key bills to answering your live call-in questions. Senator Sawyer and David engage in meaningful conversations on the issues that matter most to our state. No matter your political affiliation, We're Just Sayin' keeps you informed and involved in the efforts to make North Carolina a better place for everyone. Welcome to the conversation.
I still think that says life calling questions, not live calling questions.
I mean, we'll do it.
We'll do it. If you want to talk to us about your live calling. Good morning, everyone. You're listening to We're Just Saying with Senator Vickie Sawyer and David. Like to be part of the show, 704-873-9929. After a several week hiatus on my part, very happy to be back with you, Senator Sawyer.
I am thankful that you're here. I promise we're going to bring some radio magic today.
Oh, no doubt. Well, when do we not?
Well, I mean, I know that is the valid question. I mean, it's always so on time. The research today is on fire.
On. So much spot on. And no, there was only 2 items I had to tell you. That was last week, not this week. So it's. I think we're starting off good. I think we're starting off good.
We're good. But no, it's well, you actually wouldn't allow me to start out the show with what I wanted to, so I guess we'll have to wait.
Well, look, there's a flow to these things.
I know.
I mean, starting the show off with death. That's not exactly. That doesn't really inspire a lot of ooh, I want to keep listening.
Well, there's been some significant goodbyes we've had to say this week as a Gen Xer.
Yes,
I
that's
think
true.
Really what has smacked me across the face with all of these things are the people that have been alive, and not personally, but like in the, like celebrities that you've always thought
so we're doing it. Yeah, we're not. Okay, so this is not part of the 33% where you actually do what I ask. We're actually doing. Okay, go ahead. Your show. Go ahead. Jump on in.
So welcome to the magic of Vickie Sawyer, where I tell you that we're not going to do something, and yet I somehow managed to get it done.
We're just saying mortuary. Get into it. Let's go.
Well, I mean, come on. Like there's been 3 significant deaths in the world that
as Billy corrected us earlier, 4.
Who's the
There's
fourth?
So we've had the great American Hulk Hogan passed away. That one hurt my heart.
That one was tough.
We lost Theo from the Cosby Show.
That one's tough too.
We lost Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
And we lost Kurt Mangione.
Yeah.
Who you didn't know who
was Kurt Mangione?
Billy was a huge fan. Billy's been tearing up the entire time. But Kurt Mangione was like the Kenny G of like the trumpet.
I'll have to bury my flugelhorn.
Yes, the flugelhorn. It's like a big trumpet, but it's got a curve in it.
You guys can continue to talk more and more, but I don't think there's any lights on at home with this fella. But
anyway,
I'm sure
Kurt
his family
he was an artist. Yes, absolutely. But no, let's start the Hulk Hogan, right?
No, I was going to end with Hulk because that is.
Right.
Ozzy. No, so for me, Ozzy's always been around. I was actually a fan and a loyal fan of the reality show that they used to have, was like Meet the Osbournes or whatever. I enjoyed that.
You strike me as someone who enjoys some trash TV.
I'm not an Ozzy fan, but I do. What is wrong with trash TV?
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying you strike me as someone who really enjoys trash TV. You watch Love Island, don't you?
Okay. Not yet.
Not yet.
But I am
You wait
intrigued.
until you can binge it. You wait until you can binge it. Right?
I am intrigued. My daughter, I think, is watching it, and she's like, I'm not sure why these women cannot wear some clothes.
Well, there's a very good reason why.
Oh, that's right, because you dirty boys. Dirty men.
Yet the predominant demographic that watch that show are women.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, so for Ozzy, I was never like, I remember the biting of the head and off the bat and
Yes.
all of that stuff. I never really has been a fan of Ozzy Osbourne's music, quite frankly. Maybe one song that I like that he has that I like. But I did like the show. But quite frankly, he's kind of been a walking zombie for
he
years.
has, and the fact that he made it as long as he did is fairly remarkable. The amount of drugs the man did, and I don't know if you've ever read the biography of Motley Crue called The Dirt. They actually tell a story of basically they thought, basically the sentiment was we thought we were crazy. Ozzy Osbourne was next level. Like they got off the tour bus. There was because they were touring with Ozzy Osbourne, and there was a popsicle stick covered in ants, and Ozzy picked it up and snorted the ants like they were cocaine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So the fact that Ozzy made it as long as he did is pretty remarkable.
What was that? Did you see the meme? Something about Richard Simmons. Ozzy Osbourne outlived Richard Simmons.
I know, right?
I mean,
which should tell you all you need to know. Exercise kills.
Yeah, apparently.
Which is why I avoid it like the plague.
Okay, and then Michael Jamal Warner. I mean, that was in my formidable years. Everybody loved Theo.
Everybody loved Theo. Well, it was tragic
because
it was a drowning accident in Costa Rica, which I hate. But he was, growing up on the Cosby Show, we'll forget, we'll ignore like the last several years of Bill Cosby, right? Well, the 80s Bill Cosby was great in the Cosby Show, and Theo was a fantastic character. Big, hate. I mean, it is sort of cathartic, right? Like at our age to be seeing these people we grew up with,
I think that's the point, more or less, because I know everyone's kind of talked these passings to death, but for me, I guess then there's a point in all of our ages, especially because I'm getting ready to turn 50 in 2 weeks.
Big 50.
Oh God, 50.
Yeah, I'm still not there yet.
I know. You know what, though? There are many people that I know that do not have the privilege of saying that they made it to age of 50.
That's true.
So I am going to enjoy
and
the
50
fact
is
that
the new 40.
I don't know. My hands hurt. My shoulders kind of jacked up. I've been moving stuff around the office lately. 50 feels 50. Let me just say for whatever. I mean, but I'm not going to be, sourpuss about it. But I think the one thing that has hit me is that just seeing these folks who have been in, the world, all my life. Now you say goodbye to them, and then more things that as we get older, seeing and saying goodbye to people. It is sad, but then you can also choose to say, let's live life and enjoy. And so that's kind of where I wanted to talk about that, is that, we are of a certain age.
What's this week, Wasabi? You're older than me.
I am.
Not by much.
Oh, I just snorted in the radio. Sorry. And it really wasn't that funny.
It was hysterical. What are you talking about? Because I'm hilarious.
You are. Okay. So anyway, so now that we got my existential crisis out over the air about me turning half a decade older and saying goodbye to childhood memories.
And then there's Hulk Hogan.
And that was the one that got me.
I'll say that one hit me.
That
Hulk one hit me.
Hogan.
Now, I grew up a Ric Flair fan.
Really?
Yes, I grew up a Ric Flair fan. I was not a Hulk Hogan fan just by default, because you couldn't be a Ric Flair fan and a Hulk Hogan fan at the same time. See, that tracks.
Because of the cartoon.
Yes. Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling.
Yes, it was a great cartoon. I loved it.
It was good. I watched it as well.
Yes.
I watched it as well. It was good. I mean, the 80s really was a great time for wrestling. It really was. And I watched WWF, WWE now, WWF at the time. But I was more of a, Jim Crockett Promotions, Mid-Atlantic, Ric Flair, Four Horsemen, Dusty Rhodes. I was more in that vein. Right. And every Saturday at 6:05 Eastern on the Superstation TBS, that was gold for me. That, and like my parents, whenever I would do something wrong, in order to ground me, would take wrestling from me. Like that's how much I enjoyed wrestling.
Oh my
and
God.
It always infuriated me because back then, right, there's no DVRs. There's no, figure out trying to record something on a VCR back then was not an easy thing to do. And so like, if you missed a couple of weeks of wrestling, it was like you had to try to figure out how to catch up. You'd have to go to the grocery store and get the magazines to try to figure out what you missed in that 2 weeks, because there weren't reruns, there wasn't DVR, there wasn't the internet. What happened last week on the Superstation, right? And so,
I mean, does the plot really change that much?
Oh, there is deep character development and plot lines that vary across week to week. Thank you very much. This was grade A storytelling. Thank you very much.
I mean, how many times can you hit somebody over the head with a foldable chair?
See, that right there shows your complete lack of knowledge of the artistry that is professional wrestling.
I mean, how many times
It's
can you
storytelling.
Rip the same
It's
shirt?
storytelling. See, you know what?
Hey,
why do I come in here and try to entertain this? I don't understand.
I was a fan. Remember, I've talked about this on the radio before. I love the gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
Glow,
yes. I loved Glow and Sally the Farmer's Daughter. I was number one.
There's a docudrama on Netflix about
I already
Glow wrestling.
did it.
You already binged it?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I appreciate, but for me, Hulk Hogan, and again, I kind of watched his reality show too with his wife.
Oh, Hogan Knows Best.
Yes,
I watched that too.
It was good.
It was.
It was so good. So yes, I guess the theme today is trashy TV. So it was, but when he came out on the Trump at the 2020, what was it, or 2024
the convention
yep. And ripped his shirt off, I was like, that is so cool.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Even though I was never a Hulk Hogan fan, it was great because I went and saw we'd go watch live professional wrestling, and anytime professional wrestling was in charge, and this is back when Hulk was in WCW with Ric Flair and everything like that. Whenever they came to Charlotte, me and my buddies from college would go, and it was always at Independence Arena, the Big I. And so we were there, and one of the matches that the main event was going to be Ric Flair and I think Arn Anderson against Hulk Hogan and somebody else. And everywhere Hogan goes, he was like the fan favorite, the one cheered. Not in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Right, because that's Ric Flair country.
Because that's Ric Flair country. Right. And I'll never forget the start of the show, Flair comes out, and he's just like, he goes, everybody goes around and, thinks Hulk Hogan is so great. But what does Charlotte, North Carolina think of Hulk Hogan? And the whole arena starts chanting, Hogan sucks, Hogan sucks, Hogan sucks. And Flair goes, that's right, Hogan sucks. And so, can I say that on the air?
You just did like 20.
That's not one of those 7 forbidden words, is it?
I mean, you just did it like 20 times.
Well, and there's no 7-second delay. I don't want Billy getting fined, but it was always fantastic to see. Yeah. It was always a great show. But I did enjoy Hogan's show, and I enjoyed watching, just to see him get beat up.
Okay, for grins and giggles one day, then we needed to bring the show on the road to Raleigh, because this conversation about pro wrestling among some of my senator friends could go on for hours.
Oh, yes. I have engaged in it with some of your senator friends for hours.
It is a serious conversation, guys. And so those of you who don't like professional wrestling, we'll move on, because they wrestle inside the ring, and now there's going to be some political wrestling outside.
Yes, you got a lot going. Oh, look at the transition.
I'm doing better.
Look at the transition. Oh, so look at you. Like, honestly, you've grown as a broadcaster since I've been gone. That transition was much better than the last ones that you normally have.
I'm trying. I put the death out in the very beginning, so now I got to bring it back up.
Exactly. Okay. So, but obviously, Big news for North Carolina.
I think so.
Really, Governor Roy Cooper, which should not have shocked anyone,
right?
Announced running for Senate.
Well, I think it did. I mean, it sounds like he was back and forth a little bit, but with
Senator Tillis, they say that. I don't think I think that that's a tactic, frankly. I don't think he was really back and forth on it. I think he was always.
You think it was going to always be in?
I think he was always going to be in. And again, that's just my theory, but I think he left as a relatively popular governor. He's won statewide multiple different times.
So I keep hearing this whole thing about folks are scared of Roy Cooper. He's going to win. Like all of these things. And for me, I guess because I served in the legislature when he was as governor, I don't see it.
Really?
I think the COVID and the stain of COVID and the archaic and horrible things that he did to us, and shut down our churches, and he shut down our schools, and he shut down our communities, and he made people get the jab. And then there were some questionable things that he did at the very end of his service. I don't see it. I think the stain of COVID goes, and those draconian measures that he put us through will be so easy to emotionally draw up people. And I can just see the ads with him on the station and all of that, because for me, and I think a lot of us, COVID is personal. Mm-hmm. It was emotional. I know that because of his rules, there are family members who died alone.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%.
And he backed that up.
Yeah.
And when you start talking to that about how I couldn't go to see my husband or wife pass away because Governor Cooper wouldn't let me because of some like trumped up, 6-foot thing, that is going to hit so hard. And then on the other side of it, and again, I think the polling the whole way through on this thing is going to say Cooper up, Cooper up, because for some reason this man has a mystic around him that I just don't see. But on the other side, our very own Michael Whatley,
Yes.
who was the North Carolina GOP chair, did a fantastic job.
Yes, he was an excellent GOP
He
chair.
led us through election integrity and made North Carolina one of the top states, and other states are actually modeling what he had put in place at the state level. And then he was so good at that, he went to the national level, which he led and won, and has had presidencies, especially in North Carolina, and then at the national level. And the guy is charismatic.
Yes,
for
he is.
one. Have you heard him speak?
Oh yeah, I've talked with him personally. I've heard him speak multiple different times. He's
Yeah.
fantastic.
He's classy. He's not a gossip.
No.
He's a hard worker.
Yes, he
I mean,
is.
he is just so good on the stump. And I think the only knock that I've heard about him so far is that he hasn't actually like been in office, but that is a silly knock because listen to this.
Everybody's not been in office until they are.
That's true.
I mean that's true. That's true of everyone until they aren't, right?
Yeah, Trump was never in political office until he
Right.
was a president.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and isn't that kind of what you want a little bit? Like someone who has that fresh perspective, who hasn't had to make the deal. But anyway, so he started out in Boone in 1984 as a high school student, and he first got involved in volunteering for campaigns for President Ronald Reagan and for U.S. Senator Jesse Helms.
Jesse Helms.
That is loyalty. I mean, that is royalty.
That is North Carolina royalty back there, all the way back.
Right, and Republican royalty to Ronald Reagan. I mean,
yeah.
he is absolutely fantastic. Then he worked on President George W. Bush administration for the Department of Energy, and then later served as the chief of staff for Elizabeth Dole.
Mm-hmm.
So the man knows how to get things done.
He knows how to navigate inside of government.
Yeah,
he knows how to do that.
Yeah.
which is any good elected official needs to be able to do.
Right.
And honestly, one could argue he has a better foundation than a lot of folks, because while he's not actually been in elected office per se, he has been behind the scenes, seen the way things work and everything like that. He has the connections, the experience, the knowledge base to come in and know how to. He can hit the ground running. Right. He's not having to come in there and find where the soap is or anything like that.
Right.
He actually can hit the ground running and become effective very quickly.
Yeah, and someone said something about, well, he's going to have a hard name ID. Well, not really. I mean, yes, for the average voter, but you may not know who Michael Whatley is. But if you have anything to do with politics, you definitely know who Michael Whatley is, and you probably have met him because the man is like the Energizer Bunny. He has been all over, everywhere. He traveled to all 100 counties multiple times during his reign as the GOP lead, and he's just solid.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just absolutely solid.
Well, and the good news is that he will have Republican GOP party apparatus support across all 100 counties. And not every candidate gets that. A lot of people are lukewarm to that or anything like that. No one's lukewarm to Mike Whatley within the party. And so he will have that. And that's always sometimes the challenges for Republicans is when they don't have the full. And to be fair, Tillis was going to be running into that, because there is a segment of the party that was never big Tillis fans or anything like that. And so Whatley will not have that component to him. Obviously, he'll have the endorsement of President Trump.
Already does,
and that probably designed to clear the field. We don't want a contentious primary, anything like that. And Whatley's name idea within the party, plus the backing of Trump, it would be stupid for someone to try to get in and run a primary. That means that he has a primary season to raise money to get his name ID up. We're not wasting money in an inter-party fight or anything like that. And then go in full strength against Roy Cooper. I cannot imagine that it would be anybody else but Cooper. I don't envision another Democrat
No, they
getting
would
in.
not. No.
Because I mean he is a prolific fundraiser. I mean
Mhm.
this is going to be the most expensive Senate race next
Well,
year.
it's the number one. I was listening to some pundits speak about this race, and they thought, like, with Senator Budd, and he's a great senator, but when his campaign, it was a little different that time around because there was a lot of other noise across the states with different pickups that could possibly have happened. But now North Carolina is the number one
Yes.
race that is coming up, and it will be the most expensive race in history. And you probably are going to be tired of political ads.
Yeah, political consultants are licking their chops at the moment because they're going to be, they're going to be employed. They're going to be paid very well. The stations, the
Yeah.
news station or the television stations are going to
Yeah.
be very excited. Billy's over there just licking his
excited.
chops and everything like that for that hot ad revenue money that's going to be coming in
Yeah.
from the politicians. And the politicians got to pay a premium.
Yeah, they do.
They have to
You
pay a
can't cut
premium
them a
for that.
discount.
You
No,
cannot
you
cut them a
sure not.
discount. So
Mm-mm.
it's going to be a really fun race to watch.
Well, and then too, I'm excited about the Watley nomination because he does represent the old and the new guard within the Republican Party. And I want to hats off to Tom Tillis. Now, I know some people will like lambast me for saying something positive about Tom Tillis, but I think those people have been in the party for a short time.
Yeah.
So and welcome. We want to have you here, but also I want to give you a little historical perspective. I mean, Senator Tillis at that point was a House member from North Mecklenburg County in 2008 and 9 and 10. He quit his job. He quit his high paying job to travel and the state and recruit new Republican candidates so that they could flip the House into a majority. And then he worked that over and over again so that basically took North Carolina out of the stranglehold of the Democratic oligarchy.
Yeah.
It's not really, there's more than one. But anyways,
Yeah.
the Democratic stronghold that they had on the state of North Carolina for 140 years. Now, I know politics is what have you done for me lately? And to that point, Senator Tillis has not, but this is not a weak man that can be bullied. And so if he does have an idea and opinion, which we've seen over the big beautiful bill, we've seen him that's just who he is. And so I think he was I commend him for his service, and I'm thankful that he was there for when he's done. He does know how to make a deal.
Yes.
Which that sometimes does not make your right side of the party very happy when you have to negotiate and make a deal, and they don't see the behind the curtain like back and forth or what was going on, and so then they judge you on that. But Senator Tillis got a lot of stuff done for the state of North Carolina. We should be very thankful for him. But I also understand that he's part of that old guard. I think Watley will be a good, refreshing new guard with a mix of a little old and new with his service.
No, I agree. And Senator Tillis, I think, was very good for North Carolina overall. But where he started getting the knocks, really, when he went up against Trump, when he didn't, there's a segment of our party that if you are not in perfect lockstep with Donald Trump on every single issue, every single line item, everything like that, then you're a traitor, you're awful, you're scum, you need to be thrown out. No politician should ever be in total 100% lockstep with any other politician.
Right.
Because what that tells me, you're the same person. What am I getting from you?
Right.
If I wanted that, I'll just go to them. Right. And so, Senator Tillis, a man of principle, he had his own points of views. He did research, very smart individual. If you ever got to sit down and talk with him, and and if he wasn't, if the facts didn't line up with what his perspective was and stuff like that, and he held an opinion, he stood to it. And you know what? I respect that.
Yeah.
I can respect someone I disagree with who does it on principle, and everything like that. And he was that guy. And so, I think he probably, he's been in it a very long time, probably ready to get out and actually get some rest and everything like that. And obviously with the battles with Trump was going to make a primary very problematic for him. And, sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze at that point.
Right.
And so, but I do agree, Michael Watley, I think will be a great candidate.
Yeah.
He's extraordinarily likable.
Yes.
You have a tough time not liking Michael Watley. And so, he will, and he'll raise money. He knows how to raise the money. Which is going to be critical.
I have not been so excited about a candidate for federal Senate. I mean, I enjoyed Ted Budd too, but it was as soon as Tillis announced that he wasn't going to run, I was like, nervous. Like, who is it going to be? Who's it going to be?
Well, there was a lot of talk about Lara Trump, coming back and running. I wasn't thrilled about that, just because really. I know, she's from North Carolina. She went to school in North Carolina.
She doesn't live in North Carolina,
but doesn't live here anymore. And it's a to me, it was kind of like, I'm not so sure I'm all, I mean, obviously I would have supported her, but I was just like, going against Roy Cooper, who has a ton of name ID, has run and won statewide, what, 6 times or something like that. And he knows North Carolina politics.
Sure.
That's the thing.
That is
true. I mean, he knows the nooks and crannies. He knows who to talk to. He knows where to go. And the good thing is, from a knowledge perspective about North Carolina, Michael Whatley can match him tick for tack.
Yeah.
So there's no more advantage there.
Yeah. I did not want to say that I did not like Lara Trump. That's not it. I just didn't know that now is the time in North Carolina for her, right? Yeah. Because, and I think she was so smart. She's a guest on our show. Remember,
yes, she was fantastic.
She was fantastic. She is fantastic. But I don't know that someone who hasn't been rooted in North Carolina like Michael Whatley would have had as big of a chance as Whatley will.
Right.
So I am incredibly excited for Michael Whatley. I am going to work so hard to help get him to know our listening audience, and also my friends, and work to see if we can get it. It will be tough. I'm not being silly that I think it will be easy cakewalk, but I think that he is the right man at the right time for this job to do an upset and to defeat Roy Cooper.
I agree. And I think another thing that's going to hinge on this is, what does our economy look like, come next year?
Right.
We have rebounded nicely since Trump came into office. Gas prices are down, egg prices,
stocks are up.
Yeah, stocks are up, egg prices down, gas is down. Inflation is completely under control. The last key component is if the Fed chair would just lower rates.
I know.
And I am fully on board with the idea that he's simply not lowering rates out of spite. I think, he doesn't like Trump. He doesn't like Trump coming after him. When he first, I remember watching him on TV, when things first started, and he was when Trump was first coming back into office, and he said, what's it going to take for you to, decrease rates? And he said, well, I have to see these 9 things. All 9 things that he listed out have happened. I was listening to one of the pundits.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, all 9. I was listening to a gentleman on Fox Business talk about it. He said all 9 things that he listed have happened.
Wow.
And our interest rates are higher than pretty much every other country in the world. And because inflation is completely under control. And so there's no good reason not to be lowering rates. And so what he's been saying, well, I want to see what the impact of the tariffs been. We're 6 months into tariffs and nothing has happened. Our economy is doing fine.
Yeah.
We're raising money. The costs have not been passed on to consumers. We have not seen inflation.
Yeah,
in fact,
that's
we've seen
right.
it go down.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, the only reason you're doing it now is strictly out of spite. And I think, if you saw the president on TV yesterday touring the facility, made it perfectly. Jerome Powell could not have looked any more. The Fed chair could not have looked any more uncomfortable being next to Donald Trump on camera. He's like, because then he's looking. We got this great building, and it's $3.1 billion over budget. Powell's like shaking his head. No, it's not. He goes, no, you got to include that building over there. Can't let it off. That building over there is included. And Powell just looks. I mean, he's a banking nerd. He's a statistician. He's so out of his league being on a camera next to Trump. But it was great. But hopefully he will. He's only got 6 months left. The economy will continue
to go, and then
hopefully, and he's only got 6 months left in his term. Trump will be appointing a new one. He talks about firing him. He's not going to do that. But if we can get interest rates down, if all that happens and our economy is doing really well in 26, I love Michael Whatley's chances.
Me too. I'm very excited about that. And then after the break, you want to do a little Tulsi Gabbard versus
Absolutely.
Russia?
Let's do a little Russia.
All right.
You're listening to We're Just Saying. We'll be right back.
More boundless views, more adventures in the outdoors, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Make it your nature to trash your trash and keep NC clean. And we'll all have more reasons to love North Carolina. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina, a part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina in cooperation with this station.
We all have something or someone to protect. If you see behavior that you believe is suspicious, speak up to local authorities. If you see something, say something. Your tip could help save a life. Learn more at dhs.gov/csay.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
Every day, we move in and out of each other's busy lives. It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Bravo, Brenda. You've always been a saver. Price matching your price matches. The self-proclaimed queen of extreme couponing. But this time, you've truly outdone yourself. By saving for this electric vehicle, you're locking in up to $1,000 a year in fuel and maintenance savings, which will leave you saying, cha-ching, every time you unplug. Good for your wallet, great for the planet. That's the power of EV. Sponsored by the NC Clean Energy Technology Center and the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters in cooperation with this station.
We all want more of a North Carolina. More boundless views, more adventures in the outdoors, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Make it your nature to trash your trash and keep NC clean. And we'll all have more reasons to love North Carolina. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina, a part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina in cooperation with this station.
Welcome back to We're Just Saying with Senator Vickie, Sawyer, and David. You'd like to be part of the show, 704-873-9929. So getting back in from the break, we talked about, you thought it was over, but just, every time you think you're out, it pulls you back in. Russiagate back in the news with Tulsi Gabbard releasing several documents and due to an investigation about Russiagate. The big, kind of component being that, evidence suggests that contrary to what was stated previously, which will obviously shock everyone. President Obama actually was intimately, apparently, involved in the intelligence assessments on that and creating the narrative that. So for distinctive purposes, right? The what was basically said is that Russia interfered in our elections. Russia interfered in our elections. What Hillary Clinton and Obama and a lot of Democratic operatives tried to do prior to Trump's first election and then after was that Russia wanted Trump to win.
Right.
Hillary Clinton even called him a tool of Vladimir Putin and everything like that. Well, what it turns out is that was there election interference from Russia? Yes, but it was not in favor of any one candidate. China let's be fair. China messes in our elections. Russia messes in our elections. France probably throws some crap in there just for sport, right? A lot of people mess in our elections through giving of money and everything like that. But the key thing was they hyped up this idea that Trump was the preferred candidate of Putin, which the intelligence did not support, did not suggest, and based off of what Tulsi Gabbard found, apparently that was hyping that up and giving that higher credence than what it actually ever should have deserved. Obama had a direct impact on that.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you think Obama then also had the same direct impact on hiding Hunter Biden's laptop kerfluffle? And also then let's think about the James Comey releasing.
Comey was absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's my question. At this point, I'm so exhausted with all of it, except for God, some of my friends that I have right now, they're losing their ever loving mind.
and these would be your friends on the
liberal
left.
Men. They are like, I told one of them, either you need to get on drugs or off of them.
Or one or the other.
Because your derangement syndrome about politics is unhealthy.
It is.
They're just crazy. Oh, and then the Epstein stuff. And it's like, stop with the noise. Like all of this stuff really and truly is probably fake anyways. And this Tulsi Gabbard thing is exactly the type of information that we should just stop even getting into the salaciousness of all these things, and let's get back down to basics. Let's get back into border security, and let's talk about educating our kids, and let's talk about things that actually matter, and not all this other stuff that was probably contrived and made up. And all why is that even? I mean, I know it's important. You don't want to, not excusing anybody. If somebody's in somebody's files, by all means you should release it. But also release the health information from Biden, and actually who was running the freaking country for the past 4 years, when the man couldn't even possibly get out of like bed before noon and had to go to sleep at 6 p.m. every night. I mean, so let's go. I mean, you can go tit for tat, and I'm exhausted. I don't care anymore. I want good policy. I am tired of the bad politics.
Yeah. Well, and I think, people can call it cynicism or whatever like that. But here's the deal. Let's say that everything about the of what Tulsi Gabbard released and everything like that, let's say it's 100% true. Obama manipulated the intelligence. Let's say Hillary Clinton was right there involved in it. Let's say he covered the laptop. Let's say James Comey did these things. Nothing is going to happen to them.
Right.
Okay. It's simply not that, because it never does. It never does, regardless if whether it's a Republican administration, a Democratic administration, everything like that. Nothing ever happens with these things. People get into office. We would love to believe that the president of the United States is a virtuous individual who's not going to play politics. They are politicians. That is all that they are. Yes, they're the commander-in-chief, and they're the best at it because that's what got them there. Okay, and to the idea that they will not continue to engage in politics and do every single thing they can to help their party win is, quite frankly, naive.
Yeah.
If you believe that any politician is as pure as the driven snow, then I am sorry. I got a bridge in Idaho. I mean, it's like,
I do say the F word
minus you.
Well,
I
do say the F
You're
word.
You're the lone example of complete and total political purity.
No, I'm not. I say the F word, and I do mentally wish harm on people, political harm. I do allow myself to. Well, I pray for forgiveness a lot.
Exactly. And as we all should. But at the end of the day, I'm with you. It's just like nothing practically is going to happen. Would I love to see James Comey behind bars? Because I firmly believe that he manufactured, manipulated, and tried to interfere in an election. I absolutely believe that.
Sure.
And I believe from the CIA people who said that Hunter's laptop was disinformation, everything like that. All of them should be prosecuted. All of them should be in jail. They won't be. It simply won't happen because, one, we live in a political system, right, wrong, or indifferent. Our laws and our criminal proceedings should not be politicized. They absolutely are at the federal level. And we have a media that will do everything they can to muddy the waters just enough to where the average American looks at it and says, well, you know what? They just throw their hands up and just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's what they do.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I prefer, let's talk about healthcare. Let's talk about taxes. Let's talk about jobs. Let's talk about our economy. Let's focus on that.
Yeah.
Because every minute we are focused on all the noise is when we're not focused on the other things.
Right.
And at the end of the day, whether or not Obama manipulated that intelligence, whether or not Comey, the Hunter's laptop, and with that, they are great clickbait. They're great rage bait. They can get everybody going really good. That doesn't have a single solitary impact on my day-to-day life or your day-to-day life or the ability of you to live your life.
That's what I want to tell some of these like very angry on both sides people. Like, where's your win? You're sitting there getting your blood pressure up. You're watching and consuming this news as if it were being disseminated from the Bible. And then you are spewing and basically throwing people away from your personality, because who in the heck wants to talk about all of this stuff all of the time? I mean, like, man, join the Rotary. Go to church. Go play softball. How about pick up a tennis racket? I mean, do something else, because it is not healthy. And at the end of the day, your rant at your conservative friend or your rant at your liberal friend isn't going to change whether James Comey goes to jail or not.
No, it's really not.
And who cares if you're right?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that because you're right that James Comey was a scumbag that it's going to give you any better win. I mean, it's just it's such a rabbit hole.
It is. And social media feeds it. We've talked about it before, because people have so much. It used to be the newspaper, right? You got your news from the newspaper and twice a night on the nightly news, right? And then you went into Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy and calmed everybody down. But in this day and age, in a 24-hour cycle, people can constantly consume it and consume it and consume it. And when you hear the same thing over and over again, the rage continues to build. The rage continues to build. You get wall-eyed. But, I do think it is at a new level with Donald Trump. Trump derangement system is very real.
Oh, it's horrible.
It is an absolutely real thing. I have Democratic friends who absolutely are off the rails.
100%.
Like 99.9% reasonable people you have when Trump enters the conversation, it completely goes off the rails. Firmly and fervent held belief that the man is the Antichrist, if they believe in Christ. But it's like that's who he is, and it really has just completely thrown them off kilter. I mean, it's like a pinball machine that's on tilt, right? It's like ding ding ding. It's like completely sets them off, and it's gonna remain that way. I mean, you'd like to think they punch themselves out, but you see it at the National Democratic Party level. They have absolutely lost their ever loving minds too. First it started with that the Maryland man, Abrego Garcia, and this illegal immigration, and dying on this hill that illegal immigrants should not be deported, and they're making fools of themselves. They're attacking ICE officials. They're encouraging these things.
You know why I think the Democrats though are so like just unshelved or unhinged? Because Donald Trump for the first time has done not something that a Republican has never been able to do. And that is to break their coalition that has been built on shifting sands of the DEI race bait war. That is what they have done so long, is to hold these different people together through this farce of oppression. And then when Donald Trump came into the scene and actually said, you know what, my first presidency, Black Americans actually prospered more than the 8 years that we had with Barack Obama. Those conversations started needling away at this. And so now they don't know where to go because their fabric of their party is just in disarray. And whereas, and maybe that's what this anger from our liberal friends is because they don't have any compass anymore. They don't have that North Star, because the North Star has now been taken away from them. It's a cloudy night and they just don't know where to go.
No, 100%. And I think, they're a party completely in search of a message, and they don't have one right now, because the old message that, tax cuts for billionaires and mean old Republicans want to take away your Medicaid and your Social Security and all these other kind of things, those don't hit anymore.
They don't.
They don't land. And so they're in search of a message, and they don't have one. And they're trying their best to find one, but it's very tough to find a coherent message to go after Trump and go after Republicans on when they pass a bill that kept my taxes low, gas prices are down, inflation is under control. I mean, all the last key component is the lowering of those interest rates, which Democrats don't want, because if that happens, everything starts to go gangbusters.
Right, because then we get the flush of money again.
Exactly, we get the flush of money in, more investment comes in, the markets go even higher. That's what they don't want. So it'll be interesting. So we talked about a little bit about the 2026 race and what the economy will do. But I feel like that I'm with you. The Russiagate thing, yes, it's appalling. Yes, it's ridiculous. But at the same time, it's like, what, let's say Obama went to jail, which he's not going to go to jail. He's not going to be prosecuted. Hillary Clinton, the woman has survived this long. No judge in their right mind, no prosecutor in their right mind would ever go after Hillary just because, you're not going to be around long. That's just a fact.
She's like a cockroach, man. I think
you just don't mess. There's just a place you don't go. It's like you don't go into John Gotti's social club and go after him, right? You got to wait till he's somewhere else. But the Clinton social club is like everywhere, and nobody goes into the gangsters club. That's just what they don't do. So it's just like, hey, we're just going to let her just keep going on. That's the Clinton, Teflon Clintons, man. That's who.
So I will kind of I know we have some loyal listeners who don't necessarily have the same report to the same convention as we do. But I will say that's where I think Governor Josh Stein has been very smart. And we're going to talk about this next week as we go back into Raleigh. There's some vetoes that are going to be in front of us and veto overrides. But where he has been brilliant is to come out as this moderate, business-minded, fair, understanding governor that, battles back radicalism on both sides and is just like that guiding, like middleman kind of star. Really kind of where I would say that Governor Cooper was before his last set of administrative, actions. And so I think as we move forward, we as Republicans need to understand that we can't spike the football on this thing, because we can allow our party to go way too far right. And people who aren't listening to conversations every day about politics don't hear that. They want to see a business-minded, education-supporting, moderate elected who represents 80% of the population where most people are at.
Right. And there's, again, that doesn't mean compromising principles. That doesn't mean,
No.
but truth be told, no one ever gets 100% of what they want.
No.
No one does.
No.
And so finding, you can paralyze government, you can put things to the wall, you can shut them down and do all those kind of things. At the end of the day, you have to find a compromise somewhere. And it's always in the middle. That's where you hope that it's just a little touch to the right for Republicans. That's where you hope that it is.
Right.
And so, I consider that a win, but you guys do have like, what about 12 bills?
So 14 veto bills that went to Governor Stein. So for those of you who said we didn't do anything this session, well,
he vetoed 14 bills.
I mean, 14 of the good ones did not. We put 14 good ones up there and he didn't. But so, yeah, so we now are coming back next week, both the House and the Senate. It'll be a 2-day thing, definitely on the votes on Tuesday that will be going through. And some of the bills that we looked at, one has gotten a lot of play, but only really policy wonky. And it's about the energy companies reducing their carbon footprint by the year like 2030 or 2050. So there's like these energy carbon reduction goals, which is not really, I support it. I don't know why we have to put this arbitrary, things on the companies, because they want to do things energy efficient and less. That's kind of like their corporate culture at this point, and stockholders are going to, look and see that stuff. But you cannot mandate and regulate these type of things when we know that there's other forms of energy out there that are more cost effective and that they could get what we need to the finish line.
Well, and the whole thing about it is, if Exxon, if BP, if AMCO, if whoever believed that it would be more profitable and more efficient to go to solar panels and wind, they would have done it. Because it's like, if I can make more money doing that, then I'll do, because it is not cheap. It costs billions to get oil out of the ground.
Right.
Billions to get oil out of the ground and natural gas. And if they thought it was more efficient to build a wind turbine up above and just let the wind blow and just throw some panels down on a field and the sun power it, if that was more efficient and more profitable, they would do it.
Yeah.
They really, really would.
Have you seen like the estimates of what the energy production needs to bolster up in America to support AI and all of these data mining?
Well, and it's obviously taking a little bit center stage down in Mooresville. There's a huge debate going on down there about the proposed data center and the amount of power that it takes, the amount of water that it takes to cool and stuff like that. But I have seen the estimates. It's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, huge.
I've kind of turned a page on that kind of stuff. I'm like, I think I'd rather see a very well done data center than to have 2,000 more houses come into the same property. Do you want a property that only has like 100 or 200 employees that are low level use and coming in and will be screened? Or do you want 2,000 more vehicles on the road each day coming right by your house? I think I'm going to take the data center.
Yeah. Well, and also, and to be fair, I think that, I understand the perspective of, I like that pretty green field. I don't want anything on it. Right. I understand that, it is what it is. But here's my thing. There is a broader implication to this than simply just taking over a green field that you don't like. AI is the next national security front. That's really what we're talking about here. The next economic boom, the next national security front is artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And in order to succeed and in order to make sure America wins that race, you have to have these data centers.
Correct.
You have to have the processing power to do it. So, if the alternative is China beating us in the AI race, getting in the market on AI, I mean, they're going to steal our intellectual capital anyway.
Yeah.
I'd rather us get it before them and they could steal it after, right? I don't want them developing it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so these data centers are essential to being able to do that.
Yeah.
And the leap in AI in the last 2 years is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you use ChatGPT.
Oh, I do all the time.
Grok.
I use Gemini.
It is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable what it'll do now than when I first started playing.
I don't know if I've told you this, but my dear, I am a 9-to-5 working gal.
Yes, you mentioned that you actually had to get a day job.
I have been,
or had a day job. You just finally went back to it.
I've always worked.
Yes, you have always worked.
But I haven't reported for duty every day.
Yes,
I would be my senator stuff. So now every day, if you want to, well, I shouldn't invite everybody, but I've been working in my office.
Careful
I'm
with that.
first on phones. So when you call in, it's been so wonderful. Now,
So wait a minute. If I call Sawyer Insurance,
yes,
I get
this lovely voice.
that lovely voice. I get, this is Vickie.
No,
Welcome to
I
Sawyer
don't say
Insurance. This is Vickie.
I don't say it like that. I'm
This
like,
is
what's
Senator.
up? This is Vickie.
You're like, Sawyer Insurance. This is the senator.
Oh no,
No, you wouldn't.
No,
You
I
wouldn't
did
do
not. But I will say that you and I have talked on this before about the value of a full-time versus part-time legislature, and what is it you should do. I am, after being first on phones for the past 3-4 weeks now, I am fully in support of the part-time legislature, because you know what? It is so good to talk to people with everyday problems, that you can work with them and actually talk to folks who are real. They're not like lobbyists who are paid to laugh at all your jokes, and they're not mad
Well, not
about
your jokes are funny though, right? Their laughter is genuine with you, of course.
I mean, obviously. But no, so it's been really, really great. So 9 to 5, been in the office, but I will say something, and then I got a Sherry Berry story. So this guy came in and he was hopping mad. Have you ever heard the story? Have you ever heard like the saying "hopping mad"?
Yes.
He literally was hopping mad.
Really?
Yes. So
what did you do?
Calmed him down.
No, I mean, but what did you do to make him mad? And
sold him some more insurance.
What'd you do to make him mad?
He was just frustrated because he was in a claim, and it's always the he said, she said. And unfortunately, or fortunately, he's a little bit older.
Mm-hmm.
So I've noticed a trend with our clients who are that 75 plus, like their fuse is very, especially when it comes to insurance, because everybody's fuse is short when it comes to insurance. Even mine sometimes, because it's frustrating to deal with. And I always remind myself, my mother-in-law told me this, like, remind yourself that you deal with people having accidents every day, but those people in front of you probably haven't had an accident.
In a long time.
So it's a big deal. So, but anyway, so he was hopping mad. He was rah. And so, anyways, I came out, finally got him calmed down. Then we started joshing, and then you, of course, laid the senator line out.
Oh, of course.
And he said, "Huh, you look a lot different than your picture."
I'm sure. And I'm sure. Did you say better or worse?
No. I said, "Sir, age has a way of doing that to you." And so,
I love that. I love that.
Now, remember, I did not update my senatorial picture for one session, so I had the same picture for 4 years in a row, because my first picture, I was haggard. It was haggard. So I finally found a good picture, and I used it for 4 years. But I updated this year, but it just hasn't gotten out there. But it also reminded me of the best text I got from a mutual friend of ours, Beth, that worked with us on Our Schools First. So her daughter has a tattoo artist friend in Boone. So now this tattoo artist, you too, if you miss the elevator lady, if you miss Cherie Berry, you too can get her name tattooed as part of your arm candy.
You can get her autograph on you.
Yes, I'm showing a picture to David right now.
Honestly, I've never had a. We need to get that up on the website.
We will,
because honestly, I've never had a tattoo. I've thought about it once or twice. Now I feel like I have to.
I mean, she does lift you up.
She does
as you're going down.
Well, it's funny. Actually, I saw a social media post the other day. I was thumbing through Instagram, and there was this lady on there, and she goes, if you're from North Carolina and you don't know who Sherry, everybody says Sherry Berry. It's Cherie, but who Sherry Berry is, you ain't from North Carolina. And it's just like true story.
All these millennials love Cherie Berry. I mean, I guess because they've always seen her their entire life, and they have an attachment.
Well, and she's savage too. If you follow her on Twitter,
I know,
or X,
she's great.
She's fantastic. Her clap back at Clay Aiken is still one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. She's awesome. She's wonderful.
Maybe I have something to aspire to as I get older.
There you go. You should be elevator lady.
No, I don't want to be elevator lady.
You don't want to be elevator lady?
No, I want to be the clapback retired politician.
There you go.
Who's finally retired when she's done, and then I can just.
Then you can say what you want.
I mean, don't I already?
Well, you do.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. You taper a little bit. You taper some.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but you do.
Yeah. It gets me in trouble sometimes.
It does.
Yeah. And thankfully I have a radio show to even get myself more in trouble.
Well, this is cathartic. I mean, therapeutic for you. It's therapeutic for you.
It could be.
It's therapeutic for you. You get it all out on the radio, put it out in the airwaves, because, like, as we know, everything we say on here, nobody really cares about, and or calls us after the fact,
Never,
and gets angry about it.
So we're coming back next week.
Yes.
To Raleigh to see if we can override vetoes. Now, one of the vetoes, it's going to be, I don't know. Hopefully, it's not anticlimactic, but I'm afraid that it may be. I mean, we have a lot of. You need full strength on a veto in the House. So there's half the bills in the Senate and half the bills that are vetoed came from the House. So there'll be equal opportunity on both sides to get those over. But remember, you need to have a supermajority, veto-proof majority. So that's 72 in the House.
You need
and
one
30
Democrat in the House, right?
Yes, correct.
You got to get one Democrat
in
to
the House,
switch.
and then we need full force in the Senate of all 30 elected Republicans. And I don't know if that's going to happen. There's been some life events that are, tough for some other people. And then also in the House, one of the bills is the constitutional carry bill.
Okay.
So that one is, even
that one was controversial. Even on the Republican side, that one had some controversy.
Correct. So that will be interesting. So I'm sure you'll see a lot of will they, won't they. Hopefully it will be a will they, because there's some good policy in here that we do, and I want to see across the finish line. But we'll see, and we'll be back next week. Although we got to pre-record our show next week, so hopefully we can do it a little soon, because I'm traveling for my 50th.
Oh, that's right. You're traveling for your 50th. I will need. We'll have to figure out a time to pre-record.
Yeah, we will. But no, I am grateful for a family trip going overseas.
But to be fair, it's gonna be difficult to pre-record without knowing like what future events are happening next week.
Next week, we'll figure it out.
Okay, I trust you.
We can always bring wrestling back up, and then that's.
Oh, exactly. Because like everybody loves that topic 2 weeks in a row.
No, but so we'll see what happens, and then hopefully we will have an adjournment resolution, which means that we won't have to go back this session. Honestly, I think it has been a great break away from Raleigh to all of us, not only just for family, but to be with constituents.
So you're thinking no mini budgets? You're thinking no budget?
I think there will. Now, remember, the Senate passed over something to the House that was a mini kind of like what the idea was must-haves, and the House wasn't able to get that completed. I'm sure that bill will come back in some form, and I know that they're renegotiating and talking about that now. I think there'll be a reg reform bill that will come through that you will see. All of this will have to be pre-negotiated before, which they've been working on this week. So. Yeah, if you're a lobbyist and you got some of those provisions in there, you've probably been working pretty hard this last week.
Yeah. No, 100%. I'm sure. And actually, some of my friends who are down there actually have been continuing to work through, even though people aren't in session, trying to get stuff set. And it's a tough time because everybody's scrambling. Y'all want to get out of there. Everybody wants to be out there like completely, get home, meet with some constituents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Actually take a vacation.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I am definitely looking forward to it. Going to Italy. You've never been to Italy.
Yeah, that's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Where in Italy?
Two. So the island of Sicily and then Rome, but then also Madrid. Ooh. But this is my big 50th. I mean, this sounds like super bougie, but
before you go, you need to talk to Maddie, my daughter, because she studied abroad.
That's right.
In Madrid.
I will happily
and so she can give you. She can
yes,
give you
that's
all
right.
she can give, what is it the youngsters call it, the tea, or is that does that apply in that situation?
Sure, why not?
Or is tea details?
I think
anytime
when you say what do the youngsters call it, you're going to not be using it correctly.
That's fair.
So we'll just keep it.
Well, I look at I sent my kids over the edge the other day because I told them they were acting sus, and then they just like they looked at me and was like, okay, that doesn't sound right coming out of your mouth. Like, what are you talking about? I'm down with the lingo. I can run with the youngins. Before we go, real quick,
sir.
I know we started the show off talking about some celebrity passes. Did have a couple of local folks who've been heavily involved in the party. Brad Pick, long time GOP executive member, served with you and I when we were on there, passed on, but really great guy.
Yeah, he is a model volunteer for the Iredell County Republican Party. I don't think anybody in the Republican Party who has served locally, when they think of Brad Pick, I don't think they can say one bad thing, which is very rare for the Republican Party.
It is very rare for the Republican Party.
You usually are like fighting, but he was always a voice of reason. He always showed up. He always did the right thing. He was a godly man, definitely going to be missed. And I know he was beloved by his family, and his services are today. So just wanted to commend his service and to say goodbye.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Rest in peace, Brad, and prayers to your to your family. Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you again.
Say what you want. Thank you for tuning in to We're Just Sayin' with Senator Vickie Sawyer and co-host David Coble. We appreciate your time and input as we discuss the issues shaping North Carolina. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we look forward to having you join us again next week for more updates and insightful conversations. Take care and keep participating in the conversation.
Real Country is 550 AM WAME, 92.9 W225BD, Statesville.
WAME and Bunce Johnson Funeral Home are proud to present